Welcome to Biblical Leadership 1. This is just an orientation to maybe familiarize you with what we're going to go through over the next several weeks so you can have a better idea of how the course is going to work. This course is designed to challenge who you are as a leader, regardless of how many years you've been a leader. Every great and effective leader is constantly growing and is constantly stretching themselves. So this course will deal with the individual and the process of how God deals with you in your development. Biblical Leadership 2 will delve off more into the subjects of how you develop other leaders, but obviously you're not going to be effective at developing others if you yourself have not yet been developed. The beginning sections of this course are so critical to understanding what it means to be a God-called leader. It'll deal with subjects like spiritual formation, vision, mission, method, and action. These are particularly critical in the development of any God-called leader. So I pray that you really take those sections seriously and allow them to speak to you and to hopefully challenge you in ways that will grow you and will broaden your vision of exactly what it is God is doing in your life. The remaining sections on essential leadership qualities will be informative, and they'll be challenging if you'll view them openly and honestly, because what I'll be doing is sharing with you some qualities that I feel are critical in the life of every leader. These are things that you need to have in your life, practices and disciplines that you need to be using on a regular basis that will help you. You could ask 20 different people to teach this course and you would get 20 different lists of essential qualities. So these are just ones that through the years I've looked at, that I've tried to model myself, and I still work on these, but ones that I think will help you. Obviously, there's no way to adequately cover the topic of biblical leadership in an 8-week course. This course is meant to serve as a means of giving you teaching that will help you to grow, but also motivate you to do some self-study on the subject of biblical leadership. There are so many great character studies and people in the Bible that manifested good and bad leadership skills. They're there as a pattern to you and I. So hopefully this will also, again, motivate you to further your own independent study of leadership. I want to give you a quick overview of the mechanics of the class itself, and I'll just bounce through a few things here and cover these. One of the main things that I stress with every class that I teach online is read the syllabus. I know it's easy just to skip over it and not really pay attention to it, but you need to read the syllabus. It will answer the majority of the questions that you have regarding coursework and deadlines and requirements and formatting and templates. Most of all of that will be in there. So it's important that you read that syllabus and know what each module is going to cover and what's expected out of you in each module. Each week there are readings and lectures to complete. Some of the lectures are longer than others. Some of the readings are longer than others. The goal is to balance the workload each week while still getting you the best material possible. I've tried in the weeks where the lectures are longer to cut back a little bit on the readings. If the lectures are not as long, the readings may be a little bit longer, but it'll take an investment of some time, especially in the reading. The lectures, they'll average anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes per week. The readings, depending on how quickly you read and comprehend, can take longer, but I've tried to be very balanced in what's being asked out of you on a weekly basis. The lectures do have a superimposed PowerPoint presentation in them. There's also an optional handout with fill in the blanks in the resource section of the course. These are not required. You don't have to print those out and use the fill in the blank. You can totally disregard the PowerPoint. But since some people learn better if they have that, and it is a proven fact that we learn much more effectively from what we hear, see, read, and write, it will help you even more. I wanted to make those available to you, and hopefully you'll find them helpful. But keep in mind that these video lectures are recorded during a live class session. That means they're not perfect. That means that there are going to be some glitches along the way, and I'll stumble over my words here and there. And there may be a PowerPoint slide missing or a blank that's missing. I apologize for that, but if there's any way that I can help you if something like that's missing, just let me know. All assignments in your final project, unless otherwise stated, are to be written according to APA guidelines. For those of you that have been in college or used it in high school, you'll be familiar with APA. If you're not familiar with it, you'll find the APA style usages in the resource module of the course. Be sure you understand every assignment before you begin the assignment. If a template is provided, be sure you use that template. It's designed to help you. It makes it easier for you to complete the assignment and to do it correctly. There is a weekly quiz that will cover material from the readings as well as the lectures. That's why you have to do the readings. You have to listen to the lectures. These are 10-question quizzes that do count towards your final grade. So you want to be sure you have the material adequately covered. They are open quizzes that you can use the lectures. Go back and listen to them again. You can use an open book to complete those. Then threaded discussions. This one's kind of important. Threaded discussions are one of the key ways that I, as an instructor, can judge where you're really at on the material by reading what your input is. I know what you're reading, I know what you're hearing, but the threaded discussion allows you to give some feedback and to address the topic. So each week you'll have a threaded discussion in which a topic is given. Be sure you read the directions clearly. In online teaching, I'm amazed how many times people will begin their threaded discussion post and not address at all what the assignment actually was, or they read half of the topic and then take off from there thinking that's what they were supposed to do. So be sure you read it carefully. You'll need to make an initial post. You'll start an initial threaded discussion no later than the end of the day Thursday. You'll also need to post on 2 other students' discussions. These posts, these additional posts, can only be made after you have started your initial post yourself. They have to be completed, the 2 additional posts have to be completed before the closing of the module on Sunday evening. Also, the posts need to be spread out over at least 2 different days. You can't just come in on Thursday and make all of your posts and be done, or make all of them on Tuesday. They need to be spread out because we want you engaged with the threaded discussion. You don't have to read every threaded discussion. You don't have to read every post. Obviously, you can find the minimum you have to do and get through this course and pass it. But I strongly encourage you to read the threaded discussions. There's a lot of great material shared from fellow students and a lot of insights through the years of reading threaded discussions. I've gained some great knowledge from the insight of students. So you want to be sure that you're reading that and doing your best to respond to those things. Keep in mind that word counts do matter. There's a maximum and a minimum word count for a reason. Part of the goal of education in this manner is for you to learn to communicate briefly and concisely. So if you fall short of the minimum or you exceed the minimum by more or less than 10% or by more than 10%, it will adversely affect your grade. If I happen to ask you a question in a threaded discussion, be sure you answer that question. That's why it's important you come back and read the replies to your threaded discussions. Don't just start yours and forget about it. Come back and read what other students have said in response to what you've said. But if I ask you a question, please answer that, and that response to me, it will count as one of your 2 additional responses that you need to make. As a general rule, late assignments are not accepted. I do try to be understanding when exceptional circumstances arise. We'll do my best to work with you. However, there are late grade assessments for work that is not submitted on time. I would also encourage you here in the beginning of the course, before it's too late to withdraw, which I hope you don't have to do, but look through that syllabus and make sure you understand the course load, how much time it's going to take from you to do everything properly and adequately to where you can pass the class. If you don't feel that you can because you have revival services scheduled, there's a conference coming up, you've got family reunions or vacations, those are not adequate reasons for submitting an assignment late. So I'm encouraging you to look at the course schedule, look at the course load, look at your personal schedule, and make sure that you feel like you can do this work. Obviously, exceptional circumstances do come up. A tragedy, a death, unexpected situations. I will do my best to work with those to the best of my ability, but there can't be something every week that comes up and some new emergency, some new crisis. So do your best just to stay on track if you can, but if you need an exception, I don't want you to hesitate to reach out to me either and let me know. No doubt there are going to be a lot of other questions that will arise from time to time, especially in the first couple of weeks of the class. You may have some questions on grading. Any question that you have, I want you to feel free to reach out to me by message or by email. I'll do my best to respond promptly. Typically, within 24 hours, I'll reply to every email or every message. Grading will take usually a week after a class closes. So if you don't see a grade on Monday after a module closed on Sunday, give us some time. Every instructor of every class has 20 to 25 students usually, and it's hard to get all that grading done just because the module closed. But typically by the end of that week, you'll see the grades posted to your online grade book. I'm excited about you being here. I will hope and pray that this class is challenging to you. Let's see what God will do over the next 8 weeks for all of us. God bless you.